When you think of a quiz, right, you probably associate it with something fun that you can use in order to connect with the audience. And you're right, quizzes can be a lot of fun. But there's also so much more to them than just that. And a lot of people don't realize this. But for example, you can use a quiz in order to build your mailing list, right? So in this video, I'm going to tell you why is this a good idea and how exactly should you do this. Hey guys, David here from Thrive Themes. So first of all, why use a quiz, right? List building is pretty hard anyway. It's not easy to gather people's email addresses, especially with GDPR and all that stuff. But what I learned is that a big secret to gather more and more email addresses is to offer these people something in return, right? Then they're going to have a real reason to give you their email address. Right, so that's what we're going to do in this video with the quiz, right? At the end of the quiz, based on the visitor's result, we're going to make him an offer that he can't refuse.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
So, first of all, let me walk you step by step through this quiz and how you should build it. And let me show you how you can basically do this with Thrive Quiz Builder. So the first step is to set up the quiz type, right? So here I am inside a quiz and I've set up the numeric quiz type. Now, the reason I have chosen this quiz type is that basically I want to test out the knowledge of my visitors, right? And based on their level of knowledge, I'm going to be able to place them in a certain category, right? I'm going to be able to also segment my mailing list, not only build it, right? So for example, if the visitor will score a low number of points, then he's going to be an amateur. If he scores more points, he's going to be, I don't know, an intermediate. And if he scores, I don't know, the maximum number of points, he's going to be an expert. Right, so that's basically how this works. Now, you can also use the category quiz type, but if you want to test the knowledge of your users and then place them into a category, I think the numeric quiz type works best. Now, the second step is to set up the questions. So let's have a look at the questions that I have set up. Click on Manage here. And as you can see, I've set up a relatively small quiz in which I'm going to test out the knowledge of the visitors in terms of photography, right? And as you can see, each question has one single answer that is correct. Now, in this case, if you want to test out the knowledge of your visitors, you need to make sure that you do not display an easy quiz, right? Because then the line between an amateur and an expert will be pretty thin, right? You're not going to be able to tell. But if the quiz is hard, then the experts are going to be real experts, right? So that's what I did. And on some of the harder questions, I placed 2 points on the correct answer instead of just 1 point, right? In order to give them a bit of boost in order to score as many points on the quiz if they are really an expert, right? So that's basically how it works. And now we're going to jump straight to the results page and see how are we going to make them this offer that I was telling you about. Now, on the results page, I have chosen this template, right, which is called results form, because I want the opt-in form to be displayed on the results page, right? And now the main elements that I want to display on the results page is the so-called dynamic content, right? So let's find it on the editor. There it is, and simply drag it inside the page. And this will basically allow me to place these visitors into the categories that I just told you, right? Amateur, intermediate, and expert. So we're going to divide our visitors into 3 intervals, right? Create new dynamic content intervals. And now I'm going to be able to set up basically how many points does a visitor need to score in order to be placed into a certain category. So for now, as you can see, if the visitor only scores between 0 and 2 points, he's going to be placed in the first category, which is going to be the amateur category. So I'm going to click on apply, and on the second, it's going to be between 3 and 5. Sounds about right. And in the last one, which is the expert category, he has to score between 6 and 8 points in order to be placed here. So now we're going to be able to set up the results page in such a way that each category will see a different results page based on their result, right? So let's create the results page for the amateurs. So this is the dynamic content. Everything that is outside of this dynamic content stays the same for all categories. So we need to place everything inside in order for the results page to be different from one category to another. Does this make sense? Just stick around, bear with me here, because this is really, really awesome. So we're going to remove this paragraph and we're going to drag this content inside the dynamic content element, right? So I'm going to drag the entire content box from here. I'm going to select it, hold on a second, and simply drag it below the heading. Then I'm not going to need this, right? Remove this paragraph as well. And now for the amateurs, we're going to say simply, you are a photography amateur, right? As you could have seen, the quiz is about photography, right? And in order to make this stand out, we can make it red, for example, right? Simple as that. And now here comes the fun part. Here comes the offer that he can refuse, right? Here in the section below the result, we're going to offer this amateur some sort of an ebook that is designed for beginning photographers, right? Everything they should know about photography, right? At the beginning. So we're going to write the call to action here. Get our free ebook, let's say, about photography for beginners. And since he's an amateur, he's going to want this ebook, right? This is pretty attractive for him. We're going to remove this, and basically here you can connect this form to service, right? And then, you know, your visitor, in order to get the ebook, he's going to have to connect on this lead generation element. And then, you know, after he has signed up, you can send him an email that will contain the link to this ebook. To make this interesting, let's add an image next to this lead generation element as well. We'll choose this one, place it inside, and, you know, tweak it a little bit in order to be placed nicely, something like that, you know. And basically there we go, right? This is the result page for the amateur. Let's quickly set up the results page for the other two categories as well. So for the intermediate, we're set up right now. And, you know, we can simply import what we did in the first interval, right? And we're going to say here that, you know, you're not an expert yet, but you're getting there. Right, something like that, because he's an intermediate and this is an appealing title for him, right? And we'll, you know, we'll highlight this a bit with the red color, as simple as that. And in terms of the offer, we can offer this guy something more advanced, you know, in order for this ebook, this offer to be appealing for him, and, you know, in order for us to get his email address. So in here we can write something like, no, we'll leave this, get our free ebook about photography, about the advanced photography techniques that you need to know, right? Then we can replace this ebook and we can choose this one. As you can see, as simple as that. And again, you know, arrange it a bit. And now this is not GDPR compliant yet, but I'm going to show you how you can do that as well, right? So this is done for the intermediate, and for the expert, I'm going to import it again. But for the expert, we're going to tweak it a little bit, and we're going to say, you know, congratulations, because you're a photography expert. And we're going to highlight this, right? As simple as that. And the photography expert is a totally different niche, right? And the techniques that apply to the other guys will not apply to this guy because he probably knows a lot of stuff, right? And we need to offer him something that is really appealing. So we could probably offer him something that will help him make some money from his photography knowledge, right? So we can formulate our heading, with that premise. So, get our free ebook about how you can turn your photography knowledge into a valuable business, right? Something like that. So then we can replace this image, right, and choose this one. It's up to you, in order to display an appealing message. And, below this heading, we can display something that will make this entire thing GDPR compliant, right? We can display something that will let him know that as soon as he lets his email address in there, not only he will get the ebook, but he will also be added to our newsletter, right? So we can simply paste something here, and then we can use this in the other intervals as well. So place this inside the intermediates interval as well, and then in the amateurs interval as well, right? So that's basically how it works. Now, I've also done a video on how to use these connections inside the quiz, and also how to use tags, and how you can basically add these visitors on these different intervals into different mailing lists on your mailing service in order to create a wonderfully segmented audience inside your mailing service. So I'll put a link in the corner of this video, so check that out as well. It is important to send them to different mailing lists as well. I'm not gonna get into a lot of details as far as that is concerned, because that is a different topic. But now let's see how the visitor will go through this quiz and how he will see it basically on the front end. All right, so here we are, and we're gonna basically do this randomly. So, or not so randomly, right? We're probably gonna be an intermediate, something like that. Oh no, I'm an expert. All right. I'm not really an expert though. So as you can see, since I scored a high number of points, I am placed in this category, and I'm shown this results page, right? So this is a very cool feature that you can use in Thrive Quiz Builder in order to show different offers and different results pages for different types of visitors with different types of knowledge, basically. So that's pretty much it for this video. This is how you can use a quiz to add people to your mailing list. Now, if you want to find out more about quizzes, we actually have a free course in the description of this video that will also teach you how you can use a quiz to get more social shares, to gather insights about your audience, or even to make sales, right? So go ahead, check that out. It's free, right? So until the next time, if you have any questions or any suggestions, you can leave them in the comments below. So feel free to browse our channel and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.